So, the lockout itself, any thoughts?
It's bullshit.
Fair.
It's completely and totally fucking retarded. Like, they don't get paid enough money, first of all, not players, but up in the seats to sit there and watch a hockey game. They want to take more money off our players who are actually out there getting injured, risking careers. Let's go for Pacioretty, for example. Last season, almost lost his career, and you want to take money off that. Where's the sense in it?
I think the fans are going to lose interest.
Fair enough. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. With a lot of these players unable to play in the NHL because they've been locked out, there have been rumblings now that with the KHL being such a big interest with all these players, ESPN3 is going to try televising them in North America. Is this something that you think you'd watch?
Yes, because it's hockey. As a Canadian born and raised, hockey is my blood. No matter what it is, juniors, Team Canada, my cousin playing hockey, for example. If it's going to be on TV, I'm going to watch it.
And Alex?
Unfortunately, I probably wouldn't watch it. I'd probably stick to football and basketball, but
that's okay. That's a fair statement. Thank you. Yes. All right, so changing a little bit more Canadian, TSN is also thinking about televising junior games. I think we know basically where you stand.
Oh yes, same thing. And more power to them, because the more publicity they get, the more scouts see them, the more talent comes out, and future of our Habs, for example.
So do you want me to lowball this one too, Alex?
Let's not.
All right, it can't hurt. I mean, yeah, they get the word out there in the junior league, yeah.
All right, great. Now, something a little closer to us Habs. Our good friend Andrei Markov, who spent the last 2 seasons playing a grand total of 13 games for our Canadiens, has just recently finalized an agreement in a Tier 2 KHL team, and essentially he's going to start playing in a couple of weeks. Thoughts?
Good for him, because he hasn't gotten to play. Bad for us, because first of all, he's an injury risk, and he gets injured in that league. Chances are our star defenseman will not come and play for the Habs. So it's got its pros and its cons for him, especially. Us as Habs fans, it's probably heartbreaking to see him play for another team. Second, well, because he can't play here, obviously. And to see him, most likely he will get injured, so.
So Alex, I'll change gears for you a little bit. Are there any Red Wings guys who you think you'd be interested or worried about going over to the Continental Hockey League?
Zetterberg and Datsuk, yeah. I don't know if they are going. I don't know where they're going. But yeah, like she said, I mean, injuries, and you don't want to see that happen, and especially when they're not playing for our league. And it would be shitty. Yeah.
All right, well, you know what? I think that's basically where we're at. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate your time. So, coming down Mackay, we ran into Howe, and we're going to ask him, what do you think about the lockout?
Well, one of the things as a fan that I think about the lockout is not be able to follow hockey for a year. I mean, we live in Montreal with the Montreal Canadiens. We always think about the Montreal Canadiens. We wake up in the morning reading the Gazette about the Montreal Canadiens, and not having hockey in my life for a year is kind of, it just hurts a bit.
Now, alternatively, the ESPN3 has decided that they're going to attempt to televise KHL games and offer them here in the United States and Canada. Would this be something you'd be watching?
Well, if I have to watch hockey, so yes, I'll be interested in watching a KHL. I haven't really followed the Continental League, so far. I do know they have a very different play style. Sometimes I hear a bit more offensive, more hard hitting. So perhaps
a much bigger ice surface as well.
Yes. So I would be interested in checking that out.
Okay. Now, alternatively, TSN has countered with the possibility of televising OHL, junior, and certain AHL games as well.
Yes, I think that's actually really important. I don't know if many fans actually follow, like, say, the Hamilton Bulldogs that much, and having to be able to see, the prospects of the Montreal Canadiens, how they're building them, how they're training them to become our stars in our city. I think that would be a really good opportunity to see, the players of the future.
Absolutely. Speaking of current players, Andrei Markov, he's only played 13 games in the last 2 years. It was only announced today that he will sign a contract with a Tier 2 KHL team. What do you think about that?
Well, personally, Markov has been injured a lot in the past 2 years, and he's one of the, still in my heart, one of the best defensemen in the NHL if he's kept healthy. So warm up, training, okay, but playing in the KHL like intensively, I would not be a fan of that right now. I prefer him to rest a bit more, you know, and be ready for a game as a Canadian.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Hao.
Thank you very much, Stu, for the opportunity.
Right, so we ran into Jay here down at Reggie's Pub at Concordia. So, Jay, let me ask you, with the NHL not being available to be televised, there's ESPN3 come up with this brilliant plan. They're going to start televising the KHL games and showing them in North America. Would this be something you might watch?
Never. I'm familiar with Canadian hockey or / the NHL, and NHL is NHL. So I appreciate hockey, but we have the OHL and we have the WHL, all that stuff. I don't watch that stuff. NHL is what I watch.
Cheers. Great. Thanks, Jay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right, so we're here at Reggie's in Concordia again, and we're basically talking about the lockout. So let me ask you, what do you think about the situation?
I personally think it's a somewhat menial issue. I think they make enough money as it is, but I understand where their concerns come from. I think there should be some sort of reasonable conclusion.
Cheers, all right. So with no NHL be able to be played, at the moment the KHL is sort of the, well, creme de la creme, so to speak.
Yeah.
ESPN3 in the States is talking about bringing the games here to North America. Would that be something you think you might watch?
I do. Hockey, if it's not going on right now in the NHL, I am definitely interested in what's going on with the players. Like I said, I'm a Caps fan. Ovechkin is clearly a Washington hero, and he's playing now for Moscow. So of course I'd like to see what they're doing and how the alternative to the NHL, I guess.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers, man. So we ran into Sammy here down at Reggie's. Seems Reggie's got a whole bunch of people that want to talk about hockey. So let me ask you, Sammy, the lockout, what do you think?
First of all, I want to say Reggie's, fucking goodbye, Concordia, rock on, baby, Montreal, every day, all day. Second thing I want to say is that this whole lockout thing is ridiculous. Now, we're talking about owners that are making millions of dollars versus players that are making millions of fucking dollars, while our teachers, our doctors, and all these very responsible individuals in our society aren't making any cash whatsoever. That's something you have to think about. The true losers in the game right now that are following this beautiful sport day to day are the fans.
ESPN3 is talking about televising KHL games in North America. Would that be something you might be interested in watching?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, the NHL has been on for so long, and all of our players right now are moving towards the KHL as a monthly basis type of thing or whatever. And I think that it is the right thing for us, the fans that are the actual losers, to tune in onto these games and show the NHL, hey, you're not the only big players in the game, and there is another alternative, and we're not going to be the victim or your little conflicts.
TSN and Alternative is thinking about putting on AHL and junior games. Do you think that would be something worthwhile watching?
Of course, man. Hey, Ligue Junior du Québec, all of the other leagues in Canada, everything. Play everything as much as you can.
All right, Sammy, thanks. The last thing I want to ask you is, now this would be particularly strong for Habs fans, but there are several other players that are not, let's say, 100% in the NHL, but now they're talking about going to start their seasons in the KHL. What do you think about that?
Listen, these guys have made their lives out of being athletic and focusing as much as they can on sports rather than studies or anything like that. I 100% believe that, they have to disregard this conflict that is basically politics and just go out there and make the best that they can and, just fulfill their entire potential.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sammy. So we ran into Dylan here at Dundee's, and basically we wanted to know, what do you think about, let's say not 100% players starting their or restarting their careers in the KHL?
Okay, so we're talking Andre Markov, those kind of guys, yeah?
In this case, even Sidney Crosby, I believe, is thinking about it.
That's true. Yeah, he's got the concussion and everything. Okay. Well, it comes down to the players' choices. I mean, they're locked out. Like, what are they going to do? They got to play hockey. They got to stay in shape. Maybe they're looking to recover here. Like, when you think about it, they've been injured for quite a while. They've like Andrei Markov. He's had, as you put it before,
2 seasons, 13 games. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Glass cannon, right? It's just maybe they got to find their hockey legs again, and nothing keeps you in shape like playing the fucking game. You know what I mean?
With the KHL being sort of the premier league available on the television right now, would this be something that you'd be interested in watching?
Oh, definitely. Right now, I'm stuck with NHL Network running reruns of the 2006 NHL playoffs, and it's just a matter of, it's just having hockey in your life. It's no substitute for the NHL. Clearly, we're both loyalists here. This is not going to affect us. Like, we're not going to be KHL fans if the NHL comes back. Let's face it. I don't think anybody will be. Sorry, Russia, but it's just not the same.
Coming a little north of the border, TSN's talking about doing a lot more AHL and junior games. Would that be something of interest as well?
Yes and no. It's just a matter, like, with the KHL, you get a kind of a sense of parity with the NHL. They're like the Russian cousin, you know?
Speed of the game.
Yeah, exactly. You have the comparable talent. I'm not saying that anyone in the AHL isn't talented. I'm not saying that anyone in junior isn't talented. It's just a matter, yeah, like you said, it's pacing and a certain amount of familiarity. The Evgeny Malkins, those guys, all the really exciting players to watch are going to be in Russia. That's where we should be focused. That's just my opinion.
Okay, now just an aside very quickly. Gary Bettman has made it very clear that it appears no matter what the players offer, if they don't get their 50-50 split at the very least, they don't even want to talk. What are your thoughts?
Well, they have to start with a strong position. If they appear malleable, then the players know they have leverage, and then they'll hold out longer.
Yeah, but if you think about it, their original position was 47%.
That's true. That's true. I just see, like, at the end of the day, what's a 3% margin? I just can't wait for someone in the comments to just light me up and like, well, fucking this pays for that. But anyway, it's just a matter of, like, it seems trivial to the layman, to the fan on the street. I'm going, why is there no hockey? Apparently we're profitable now, even though, what was it, 18 out of 30 teams lost money? 16 out of 30 teams. So it's not bad, but it does, and here's where I differ from Bettman. He seems to kind of favor those just small franchises in the States that are struck. Phoenix. It's a fucking desert. Why do they need a hockey team?
Actually, you know what? It's kind of funny you bring that up. I actually found out something about that. The NBC TV deal actually requires them to be in certain markets, and one of those markets was Phoenix.
Okay, all right. So the plot thickens. I got you. If they clearly aren't supporting the team, move them to Quebec City. I'd rather have another Canadian team. Let's be honest. Like we've seen in Winnipeg. They came roaring back. They're like sold out for the next 5 years.
Well, yeah, season tickets sold out in, I believe, 45 minutes.
That's got to be a record of some kind, and God bless them. That logo too. Ooh, that's a sexy logo. I gotta say, props to them.
Great, thanks a lot, Dylan.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
So, YouTube, you've heard a lot of stuff tonight from a whole bunch of fans. A lot of them have fans. But we've also spoken to a bunch of Leaf fans. We just spoke to a Red Wings fan. We've had a couple of fans from pretty much all over the NHL. And I think some of their comments were really interesting. And it gives you a good idea what the overall fan breakdown is looking like. I'm not going to give you my own comments, because if you watch the rest of the videos, you know what my opinions are about this. But I think we all want to see hockey back. And all I have to say to end this out is go Habs go.